Okay, this is a kind of tutorial to show you how to replace the pulley and cord mechanism on the inside of a volume pedal, or adjust it. That's what I'm doing in this video. I'm adjusting it. I bought this Ernie Ball volume pedal from Reverb just a few days ago. When it arrived, it wasn't fully functional. There were some problems with it. The first thing that I noticed was one of the cords here was actually off the pulley, completely off the pulley. There are two coming from the top plate onto the pulley. One cord was still on, one was off. So the volume still changed when you moved the pedal, but you could see that the cord was hanging out. So the first thing I did was I just grabbed it with my finger and I put it back onto the pulley. Then I plugged it into my amplifier and tested it, and this is what I realized. So I'll just demonstrate it for you here. I've got a guitar connected, and my amplifier is already on, and I've got the amplifier with the distortion on so you can kind of hear the problem. Now I've got the volume all the way in this position here, which should attenuate the volume 100%. I've got another one of these that I bought about 18 years ago, brand new, and when you put it in this position, the volume is completely off. There's no sound at all, but not this one. Hear that? You should hear nothing. Now, it does increase in volume as expected. But that's it. So you have that problem, and there's another problem. When you push it all the way to the front, it actually, see this gap right here? It doesn't stay down. You actually see the gap in the original photo from the Reverb post. This is where I bought it from. In the photo, you can see the same gap exists right here. The pedal is all the way forward, and it has the little gap, just like I'm showing here. So that's kind of the hint of what the problem is. So what I think what it is the potentiometer position needs to be aligned with the position of the foot pedal. Now this mechanism with the very taut string, there's like a spring back here. It's designed to, handle some small amount of misalignment. The spring will kind of stretch to keep this taut. But I think it needs to be fixed. I think what happens is when you get up to this position here, I think the potentiometer has no place to turn anymore. And then when you force it all the way down, the spring is going to open up more, but then the string pulls back and your pedal goes up. So that's the hint there. So it's full volume in this position, but because it ran out of travel at this point, it simply can't get all the way off in this position. If anything, if it's going to spring back a little bit, if anything, you'd probably want it to spring back on this way to get it to shut off all the way. Anyway, I'm going to attempt to fix it. So I think it's just a matter of realigning the position of this spindle with the position of this foot pedal. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so, all right, we have our pedal here in the lab. This pedal is built like a tank, and it's not really obvious how you could take it apart completely. However, I didn't really need to do that. All I did was I removed the panel that holds all of the 1/4-inch jacks, and that gives enough room to reach in and manipulate the pulleys and all that stuff that's in there that controls the potentiometers. The blue wire is here. You can see these points where you can remove the connector inside. Those face the PC board on both of them, but on both of them the blue is on that side. And notice that it's in order. So that's brown for 1, red for 2, orange is 3, yellow is 4, green is 5, blue is 6. So no doubt pin number 1 on both of these connectors are that way, and they're using the resistor color code for the orientation. Kind of cool, huh? Okay, you can actually see why the cord came loose. It's not really anyone's fault. I mean, it could have been that this pedal had always been misaligned from day one. But watch what happens when you pull it all the way forward. Now here it stops. Right there, the potentiometer stops. There's no more travel room for the potentiometer. So watch this right here as I continue to push this down once it stops. So I'm going to slowly move it, move it, move it, move it. It stops. And then when I push down, look at that. See those two cords coming loose? Let me just zoom in a little bit. I'll zoom in as much as I can. All right, so I'll bring it up. Hopefully we're in focus. I can't tell. We'll just go out just a tad so I can focus. So I'm moving down, moving down, moving down. You can see the potentiometer is fine. It's moving, it's moving, it's moving, it's moving, it's moving, it's moving. There, right there, it's stopped. Now the potentiometer cannot move anymore. And when you continue to push down, the string comes away. And so if you just keep using this on stage over and over again, inevitably one of the strings will pop out, which is the condition I had received it in. Kind of interesting, huh?
All right, now you can see that I've removed the cord completely, and I'm restringing it up and realigning everything. One thing that I want to point out is I used a spring puller as for one of the tools, that and a pair of needle nose pliers. The spring puller was really handy for this particular situation given how long and narrow it is, and it's got a hook on the end to pull springs and the cord. Okay, I froze the video right here to show something pretty important. Now, I went through this process about 5 times before I finally got it exactly the way I wanted it to be. The problem that I was having was every time I would get the string in place, the volume potentiometer would be just slightly away from totally off or infinity. And you can see that by looking at the set screw. I did it so many times I had it kind of memorized. But here's my trick, and you can see it in the photo. What you want to do is string everything up without putting the string over the black pulley right here where the arrow is pointing. Once you get it just like this, everything is assembled, all you have to do is then pull that string over onto the black pulley, and you're done.
The string is tight, and you can feel I'm pulling against this spring back here. But if my plan works, when I pull this string back onto the pulley, it'll pull it in the direction I want it to be when this pedal is all the way in the volume off mode. And that's my best guess on how to put this together. So I want to get this here. Use my handy spring puller. There, yeah, it worked. Yeah, see? Now it's all the way at the end. Oh, got it, man. So now that is nearly fully off. Hardly any movement. When I put my finger, I'm here in this position. I put my finger there, and it, out of shot here. Now it's fully in the, it's lined up correctly. So now when I'm down here, this is just about perfect. When I go up to the top, there's no, for the most part, almost no movement. You can kind of hear it. If you look really close, you might be able to see it. But that's it. So right there, it's at full volume, and the pot can't turn anymore, and the spring is expanding to take up the extra spot. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, so go ahead and hit my send here, my returns here. Okay. Perfect. No sound at all. Awesome. I fixed it. All right, so now I don't have to search around for another pedal.